The Bell Laboratory came to me, it was just something that needed to happen. It was very clear to me that this has to happen, and that we have to make it happen. And if you dramatically fail, then you will dramatically fail and you will learn out of it, and it's a fantastic experience anyway. It was a big risk for all of us. It's about this communication with the musician. Like when you work with a machine, it's a machine. When you work with a musician and an instrument, it's a different vocabulary and it's a different way of connecting. These are all classical musicians. How do they listen to electronic music? It was never the focus for me to be a musician. It was more that I was really interested in creating this parallel universe. The real stuff that was happening wasn't that joyful, wasn't that interesting. So I would always have put a lot of energy into creating my own environment and involve people into it also. It was a lot of experimental music that I was listening to and that I was making. When Pantha came into birth, it was the idea of being able to dance to what I do. So I had to create Pantha to basically give birth to the ideas that I had in my head. Bell Laboratory started with Carillion research that I did for some years already, and we recorded few church bells in the mountains in Switzerland, where we did the basic source recordings for Black Noise. While I was touring with Black Noise, I was listening to this Carillion in Oslo. It's high up on the city hall, and I had never heard before something like this in a city, this loud and this present. I said, this is really special. It'd be nice to create a piece for this Carillion. And then Lars-Peter Hagen, who is connected to the new music scene in Oslo, told me about these mobile Carillions, and I was super fascinated by this. Then we basically started thinking about creating an ensemble. When I first listened to In C, it felt so familiar. It's something that I always wanted to do. André de Ridder, he's a conductor. He saw the Bell Laboratory in Berlin, and we decided to work together on something new, and then he made the contact between Chris Sharp of the Barbican and us.
We, the Barbican, we engage with sort of minimalism and minimalist composers quite a lot. And then I thought, well, how about an evening of doing nothing but in C? As I'd seen the Bell Laboratory collaboration both in Norway but also in London, it was kind of very fresh in my mind, and I thought Hendrik would zone in on the pulse and the rhythm. Riley's a really interesting figure in that he's somebody who brings together very old, ancient kind of devotional, spiritual practices of South Asian music with a real interest in cosmic jazz and moments of frisson and explosion that make changes in consciousness.
We tried to kind of get it together, and I was really asking the musicians. They were really into it, and they were like, yeah, of course we can play this.
Yeah, in the middle. I can do maybe only now. I do both of them. Lots of guitars and just this melody in between. I can do
There's always a musical discussion. Bell Laboratory is more it's about this communication with the musician.
The start. Maybe we could just let it stay much longer, so that you, as a listener, you start thinking about that this is the total centrum, and that this is a pulse.
Yeah, but this is a very classic beginning for the piece. This is what a lot of people do. It's about an exchange, getting together at a point where it's going somewhere where I probably haven't seen before.
I think it's cool to go in all other directions than what we would normally do.
Yeah. So if we start with the tonal, really played stuff, so you can also enter with the C on maybe on the high And the high ones.
Right here.
But damped, we... Yeah, we'll try. My own version of in C is the blueprint for the version that we would play in the Barbican. Every time you play in C, you have a different result. I basically did a jam, an arrangement where I made a kind of a sketch for the musicians. So how I would interpret in C. I mean, you could make a fixed score, but we decided not to. Everybody's open to interpret the sequence. The sequence consists of particles that Terry Riley gave us. So we have a time running, and the musicians have to kind of get from one pattern to 3 patterns for the sequence, for example. What they get from us is that when the sequence starts, the cue points basically give them the new entry for a new sequence. And the sequence sometimes is 1 minute, sometimes 2, sometimes 10 seconds. It was just the idea to do also to open up our process to a new approach. And this is the possibility we have with the Barbican to make this experiment. Of course, it's a different situation when you create something in your studio and then you have to translate it onto a stage with acoustic instruments. There's always this risk involved that it might not turn out the way you want it to turn out.
Thanks so much for kind of agreeing to do it. So when were you in Oslo? When was the first chance you had to try it out? I can't remember.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Intensive?
Yeah, it's okay. We will manage. Rehearsals were like
Fun?
Super fun. A very helpful thing to make this connection between acoustic and electronic, that we had like a digital way of working together.
So we do our thing and he just extracts elements from us. He has every microphone also going through his mixer so that he can pick up the sounds that he finds interesting. That's one of the things that makes it a little bit more organic, because he has the opportunity to pick out these things and make new things for every concert. So he's good at doing these things.
Playing in C is like a little bit like coming home to a very like comfortable place. It's rather exciting, of course, to play it then with an ensemble in front of a crowd, and also with the Joshua Light Show, who are also from the time where it was written. Ah, that's cool.
Yeah, we could do whatever you're inspired by. I'm wondering if there's more light on that. They're going to make shadows. I mean, I may do something too.
I see my role as some kind of connection point, not like someone who gives direction. It's more like that I filter the information from each musician. When I hear what the musicians are playing, I have ideas and I try to kind of formulate these ideas in other ways than it would a normal conductor or composer would formulate them. I'm more really trying to create this environment. I think it's very, very important to be aware how you use whatever technology you're using, and to also sometimes use it not in the way it was thought of as being used. Make it your own thing.